we're going to explain the common Python error. WinError 3, the system cannot find the path specified. This frustrating error pops up when your Python code tries to access a file or directory that doesn't exist, or that it doesn't have permission to access. Let's break down how to troubleshoot and fix it. 1. Verify the path. The most obvious yet often overlooked step is double-checking the path you've provided in your Python code. Typos are incredibly common. Make sure the path is exactly correct, including capitalization, slashes. Forward slashes are generally preferred even on Windows, but backslashes work too. And the file name. You can print the path before attempting to access it to visually confirm its accuracy. For example, if you're working with file paths, use print my file path to display the path before any file operations. 2. Absolute versus relative paths. Python allows both absolute and relative paths. An absolute path specifies the full location of the file starting from the root directory of your operating system. For example, C, users, your name, documents, myfile.txt on Windows. A relative path is relative to the current working directory of your Python script. If you use a relative path, ensure that the file you're trying to access is actually in the same directory as your script, or that your relative path correctly navigates to it. Write single quote os.getcsysakudi can show you your script's current working directory, helping you understand the context of your relative path. 3. Working directory. As mentioned above, the working directory is crucial for relative paths. You can change the working directory using write single quote os.chdir. For example, os.chdir, C, users, your name, documents, would change the working directory before attempting to access a file in that documents folder. But again, absolute paths eliminate this ambiguity entirely. 4. File existence. Before attempting any operations on a file, reading, writing, deleting, it's good practice to explicitly check if it exists. The write single quote os.path.exists function is incredibly useful here. You can use it in an if statement to conditionally execute code only if the file or directory exists. For example, if os.path.exists, my_file.txt, hash do something with the file. 5. Permissions. Even if the path is correct, you might not have the necessary permissions to access the file or directory. This is more common on systems with restricted user accounts. Make sure your Python script is running with the correct permissions. You might need administrator privileges to access certain files or directories. 6. Hidden files and folders. If you're dealing with hidden files or folders, often indicated by a dot at the beginning of their names, like my hidden file, you might need to explicitly include them in your path. 7. Special characters. Ensure that the path doesn't contain any special characters that might be causing issues. If you have spaces or other characters in your file or directory names, they might need to be escaped or handled carefully, usually by enclosing the path in quotes. 8. Network paths. If you are working with paths on a network drive, ensure that the network drive is connected and accessible. Network connectivity problems can also trigger this error. By carefully checking these points, you'll significantly increase your chances of resolving WinError 3. The system cannot find the path specified in your Python programs. Remember to always use good error handling techniques to catch these exceptions gracefully, providing informative messages to the user, and allowing your program to handle the issue without